Good afternoon, everyone. This is Apostle Alexandria of the House of Worship, Anointed Appointed Ministries, and this is Throwback Thursday. Um, Today, I just want to talk about, how I could start it off like God's good. God's good all the time. God never fails, and God's always on time. I say that because I remember in 2019, I had my grandkids here for the summer, and it was like my grandkids left like on August 8th and August 11th. My building caught on fire, and I was homeless. Me and my kids were homeless, and they were adults. And we all know that shelters, family shelters, the kids got to be under 18, but, God graced me and my family to where, my children could be with me and my granddaughter at the time. We was in the shelter, and being in the shelter, it was like my fourth time being homeless, and it was just like for once, you know I couldn't do nothing about it. My kids were so used to me solving everything and fixing everything, and like I said, they was an adult. I was still raising my granddaughter, so it was just like my obligation was to my granddaughter, but I made sure that my older kids were straight. But as we was going through that time and place, I was just like, I couldn't get an apartment in New York. I didn't have the credit. I didn't have the money for the security deposit. I didn't have nothing. And because of my situation, we had certain privileges in the shelter that the rest of the families didn't have. So they started complaining. I mean, like, we just got there. And they just started complaining because, we had more leeway than they did. And they tried to explain to them that, I had, assistance to get housing, but nobody would take their assistance. So it was just like, I'm fighting to trying to find us a place, and at the same time, my kids wasn't helping me. So I just gave up the position of being in the shelter, and I basically just bounced around until I found me a place, and it was just like, it got so depressing. It was so hard, I didn't have a job, so it was just like, how do I, get us a place? Like, it's easier when the kids are younger because you can just go and get help. But when they become an adult and you're getting older, and you're going forward in life because of you trying to get rid of what you had, I didn't know what to do. So I went from Westchester, New York City, Long Island, just trying to find somebody who was willing to rent to me and just take a chance, because like I said, I didn't have the credit. And it's like 6 months. I'm going through this, the assistance is about to expire and everything. And, couldn't get no help because it was just like, it was a big thing here in Yonkers. The people in the building, they all started doing, you know, interviews on how just the city just won't help, and they didn't. And they was just wanting to put everybody in the project, and like, I was already in the project. I didn't want to be in the project. I don't knock the project, but I just know I have a son and he's a big boy, and I have daughters and they're beautiful, and my granddaughter, that's what I was thinking about. It's just like, I don't want to go back to the place where I have to be out there defending my children, adults or not. And, I didn't want that. So I just tried to find me something better, That's 2019. Here we come 2020. And we all know what happened in 2020. And it was just like, I shall not give God glory for what he did, because of 6 months of rejection. Somebody opened the door for us. And by then, my older kids was back in Maine, because we moved from Maine here. So my kids were back in Maine. And, I was trying to find a place. And just that door just opened. I found me a broker, you know, and the broker understood my situation. And it was just like they was willing to let me, pay security over the time, as I pay my rent. But I kid you not, I walked in this apartment, in February, Valentine's Day. and it was just an air mattress, and I was waiting for my kids to come home. And my kids came home, and March 3rd, COVID hit. COVID hit. So when I say that God's on time, God's on time. And to this day, I'm still around the same people. It's just like, I know that God did what he did because he needed me to be in a place where I have to get to know him even deeper, because I have never been in a place where I needed God to show up. He always provided. But sometimes when God wants to take you higher, he'll put you in a place where you have to trust him. And you might think that you're in a broken place, that you broke the situation. No, it's God breaking the old so you can make room for the new. And we've been here 4 years. 4 years. And this past year, I've just been preparing them because I know it's our time to go. Because the one thing I know about God is, God will start, he'll put it in you to move. He'll put it in you to take this job or to do this and that. He'll warn you, and then he prepared you. And he's prepared us. He prepared us. We came here in chaos, but God's going to let us leave in peace. And I know my journey's not over in New York. I just know my journey's over here where I'm staying at, because the outside is trying to come in. And before I let the outside come in, I ask God to guide me to the place he wants me to be. And to be honest, when I first moved to New York, the street that I live on was the first apartment that I was going to take, but I didn't take it. And who would have known I would have been right back here at the beginning of my time here in Yonkers. So I know it is my time for God to move me to that next place. And I'm grateful for that, because we made it. We made it. We made it through whatever trials and tribulations he needed us to go through here. And he showed up for us then. So I know God will show up for us now. So if anybody out there thinking that God's not going to show up for them, be patient, because God's timing is the best timing. Shoot, God's time is the only timing. Because, like I said, I tried to do it myself. But once I told God, lead me, guide me, he gave me a good landlord. He gave me good neighbors. He gave me a good community. But now it's just the community is changing and the people are changing. And, it's getting chaotic over here. So I trust God that whenever, wherever he sends us, that we go with his grace, mercy, and permission. So that's my Throwback Thursday. Y'all be blessed. Have a good day.